Whiteland Basketball and WBSN is presented by Taylor's Farm Market. Welcome in on this Tuesday night to the Glen Ray Gymnasium as your Whiteland Warriors face the Indian Creek Braves. We are starting live for tonight for Indian Creek. We have Lawler, Foster, Galt, Wiseman, and Siding. Luke, your thoughts?
Wiseman, obviously a beast. I mean, IU commit, had kind of a off game, I guess you could say, but still scored 14 points, and for anybody else, it would have been a really good game.
And for Whiteland, we have the same. We have Baines, Higdon, Roderick, Dyer, and Von Dilligan as they look to bring their win streak up to 2 after a win versus Martinsville on Saturday. And as we get set to go, as they're announcing starting lineups in the Glen Ray Gymnasium, it is set to be a bit of a great night in the Glen Ray Gymnasium. We have the band, we have a lot of fans on hand, and obviously we have the media covering these Whiteland Warriors on the Whiteland Bee Sports Network.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the stat sheet, Whiteland doesn't beat Indian Creek in a lot of things, but one of the things they do beat Indian Creek is three-pointers made. So if Whiteland can capitalize on the looks that they get from the three-point line, this can stay a competitive game, even though on paper it doesn't look like it should be.
And as we get ready for tip, we thank you for joining in. And we are set to get underway as Indian Creek wins the jump ball. Now it's Galt to Lawler for the shot, and it goes in. So quick points for Indian Creek. And now Wineland looks to jump back and bring themselves up on the offensive end as Dyer puts up the shot. It won't go. Dyer had her first 20-point game against Martinsville on Saturday. So definitely looking for a big game from her.
I mean, yeah, on the season, averaging 9 points, 5 rebounds, almost 6. If she gets a 2 there, if she can get her scoring going, that'll be very, very good for Whiteland. And
obviously, Indian Creek has a bit of a height advantage, but we know Dyer and Von Dilligan can get active on the glass. And and Whiteland definitely needs that today, as they do not average the most rebounds in losses, but they average 31 in wins.
And I mean, yeah, it's going to be hard to get on the glass with Indian Creek having 3 players 6 feet or taller, but you just got to be gritty.
And now Dyer, who drove in, now goes to the line for 2 shots. Dyer's only averaging 46.9% from the free throw line. So not the greatest, but we have seen her improve throughout the season.
Yeah, but getting fouls on Wiseman early is something that Whiteland's really going to want to do, because that's kind of the advantage to facing a bigger team, is that they tend to get foul trouble earlier. So if you make them take their better players off the floor and beat you with your guards, who are still good for Indian Creek, but if you make them beat you with your guards, that'll be a better matchup for you.
Yeah, like you said, Faith Wiseman committed to Indiana University, the Hoosiers. Obviously a great player, but you can't overlook their guards, Isla Lawler and Lauren Foster. Lauren Foster had 22 points, 7 assists, and 3 steals against Cloverdale in the 77-18 win for Indian Creek, which pushed their win streak to 4. So you definitely can't take your eyes off those two and keep them on Wiseman.
And Foster also averaging 50, 40, 90, so a great scorer.
Now Wiseman drives to the left, won't get the shot to go, and that shot is blocked by Gwen Higdon. But the ball goes out of bounds as Von Dilligan tried to get the rebound. And Von Dilligan, only in her 3rd game back from injury, got injured in the first game. Against Martinsville, she was plus 17 in 27 minutes while having 10 points and 14 rebounds. And now that's Siding with a little layup, and she gets it to fall. So that puts Indian Creek back in the lead. Now it's a quick skip pass by Roderick to Baines, and Von Dilligan turns the ball over. Wineland trying to get back on defense, and that's Lawler putting up the layup, won't go. Offensive rebound by Wiseman, and that won't fall either. Now Wineland pushing the pace. Baines picks up the ball. Higdon for 3, and it won't get the roll.
That was a good look for Higdon, and it's early in the game. So she can heat up as it goes along when she gets looks like that.
And pass intercepted by Baines. Bounce pass to Roderick, and a great pass leads to a great layup. And points off of turnovers. Going to be big for Wineland here. Indian Creek averaging 16 turnovers per game. Wineland averaging 24, so not the greatest, but in wins, Wineland is averaging 16 points per game off turnovers, and in losses, 6. So getting those points off of turnovers will be big for Wineland tonight. That's another turnover for Indian Creek. Long pass to Roderick. Almost goes out of bounds, and it does. So what looked to be a great look by Baines goes out of bounds, but that's definitely what you want to see by Wineland, pushing the pace off of a turnover.
And I mean, Indian Creek, they turn the ball over a little bit at 16.3 times a game. So Whiteland's going to have opportunities to get out and run and make those plays in the fast break, and they're going to need to capitalize on them.
So now Wiseman driving to the center of the lane and gets a little floater to fall. There's not much you can do if you're the Warriors with Wiseman being 6'4". Once she gets in the lane, you just got to hope that she misses it. And now Wineland looks to tie the game, but that's a turnover by Baines, and now Higdon getting down the floor. That's Foster, and Foster gets the layup to fall. So it looks to be Indian Creek's playing a bit of a full court press, trying to get Wineland to commit turnover. That's a long pass, intercepted by Wiseman. Pass to Galt. Won't get the shot to fall, offensive rebound. And now Wiseman gets fouled and heads to the line.
Ooh, that's a tough one because it looked like Von Dilligan got vertical, and it looked like verticality should have been in effect, and that's really rough if that's how they're going to call that for Whiteland, because with Wiseman being so big, that's all you can do is just get vertical and try and alter the shot.
And it seemed like Wiseman initiated the contact, but I understand the foul call there because there's still a bit of contact. Wiseman currently averaging 63% from the free throw line. So obviously, you know, if you're a Whiteland, do you want her to take those easy shots in the paint, or do you want her to go to the free throw line? Obviously, you don't want to see her get injured. You don't want to go for those hard fouls.
And you don't want to get into foul trouble early.
And you don't want to get into foul trouble. Wineland was in foul trouble against Martinsville as a pass intercepted again, and that's Lawler. Lawler won't get the shot to fall, but that's Foster who puts the layup in. So quick 7-point lead for Indian Creek as Wineland calls a timeout. We will be back after the break. You're watching basketball on the Wineland Beat Sports Network.
Come through. It can leave your house with roof, gutter, or siding damage. But when the storm passes, Rees Restoration is there to give you peace of mind. With quick response times, you can expect a trained professional to be on site within 24 to 48 hours after the call.
Call 463-220-4080 to get your free estimate today.
Rees Restoration. Let us show you the way.
Welcome back. We are 4 minutes into this first quarter of the Indian Creek Braves versus your Whiteland Warriors. Warriors currently down 7. And I think what we saw in these first 4 minutes that led to Coach Bergerson calling a timeout, a lot of errant passes in the air.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not how you want Indian Creek to beat you, that you can't let them beat you like that. If they beat you through being bigger or being faster, that's different, but you can't let them beat you through fundamentals.
And Baines gets trapped. Indian Creek playing a bit of a zone here. Bit of a 3-2 zone to counter Wineland's three-point shooting as Higdon steps back, puts up 3, won't go off the front of the rim. So now Indian Creek looking to increase their lead as that's Lawler as she makes the mid-range jumper. So now Wineland looking to get back in the scoring column after a bit of a cold drought. Again, that full court press, which is allowing these errant passes by Wineland, a lot of forced turnovers. And that's Siding, and Siding gets fouled by Roderick.
Yeah, and Whiteland, you got to get back in this game because you were keeping pace with Indian Creek early in the game. So you know you can hang with them, you know you can compete with them, but you just can't let it get away from you early.
Yeah, and Wineland allowing 60 points per game in losses, and Indian Creek is averaging 65 on the season. So you got to do your best to hold them to as little points as you can as Galt puts up the 3, won't get to fall, but you also got to get points off of those turnovers and off the fast break chances. So now Roderick to Alexa Lee, who checks in for the first time for Sukhman Baines. Now Dyer guarded by Wiseman. Dyer puts up a little fadeaway and won't get to fall. Rebound by Siding. Now that's Foster to Lawler in the corner, and she gets a 3 to fall. So Indian Creek has a double-digit lead so far in this first quarter. And now the ball gets at the floor, and Dyer misses it. Wiseman driving off the fast break, pass to Galt. Galt gets blocked, but Higdon is called for the foul.
That's a tough one.
And Luke, what I'm noticing on this full court press by Indian Creek is Wineland isn't dribbling the ball a lot. They're picking up the ball and forcing themselves to pass it instead of trying to dribble down around the defenders. How does that affect your game plan going against it?
Well, I mean, in this situation, I understand why they're doing it because you'll see somebody open down the court, but every single time that they've tried to attempt such a long pass, it gets picked off. So those kind of turnovers are just unnecessary, and honestly, I think you'd like to see Whiteland try and dribble out of the press instead of just heaving it down the court without really getting anything set up for their offense to try and have any, extra off-ball movement that's closer that you could get a better look and get up the court.
Now, if you get up the court and you have someone open, obviously it allows you to get a better shot. But you give them more time off the passes as another turnover, and now Siding will go to the line. But you allow them to have time, to go back to what we were saying, you allow them to have time to read those passes because of how much time they're spending in the air.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, if you want to huck it like that, it's got to be a line drive. It's got to be right there. It's got to be like a football spiral almost.
And we know Baines can do that. But I wonder if Wineland, if they want to keep playing that type of coverage against the press, if they start to resort to maybe bounce passes to keep the ball on the ground.
Yeah, you want to see them put it on the floor more and not try to play through the air, especially when you've got a taller team, because then they can definitely get higher than you and pick that ball off like they're kind of a free safety just sitting back there in coverage.
Now Higdon takes it out after missed free throw for Siding. And now Roderick pushing it up. There's Dyer. Dyer taking it all the way. Gets blocked by Wiseman. Wiseman with the rebound. Looked like Brooklyn Johnson was open on the other side. And now that's Lawler with a pass out to Galt. Lawler open in the corner. She puts up the 3. Won't go off the side of the rim. And that easy shot in the paint by Siding. So the Warriors with a bit of miscommunication on defense. That ball is almost intercepted by Siding. And it's taken away by Lee. Higdon on the floor. So the Warriors really struggling against the press. But they got it up the floor this time, and now they're looking to slow it down possibly.
Yeah, I think that'd be better to try and slow it down and allow more off-ball movement, get a better look, set some screens, and things of that nature.
Now it's Johnson for 3. Johnson gets the 3 to fall. So her first three-point attempt of the year, and she gets her 3 to fall. As that's Foster missing the layup on the fast break. And now a 3-on-1, pass inside to Dyer. Dyer puts it up, but blocked by Wiseman. So Roderick tried to fool Wiseman, but Wiseman was not fooled, and Wiseman, who's averaging 3.4 blocks per game, gets that one against Sophia Dyer.
Yeah, I mean, Indian Creek, as I've said, they've got 3 players that are 6 foot and over, so they're going to have a lot of people who are just physical presence in the paint on defense.
So that's Higdon, guarded by Wiseman at the top of the key. She puts up the 3, won't get to fall with the roll off the front of the rim. And now Indian Creek pushing it up. That's Lawler. And that's Pendleton, who's checking in for the first time for Indian Creek. Had 2 points and 3 steals versus Cloverdale in their 77-18 win. And now Wineland looks to get back on the scoring board with about a minute left to go in this first quarter. That's Lee driving in, loses the ball but finds Dyer. And that ball will go out of bounds, and it seems to be on Indian Creek, and Wineland will retain possession.
And Whiteland's getting good looks, like Gwen Higdon and Sophia Dyer have gotten good looks. They just haven't gotten the shots to fall. Once those shots start falling, and like you can see, they're getting closer and closer to making it. Once those shots start falling, you'll see this game get a lot closer because they're playing pretty well on defense, getting some stops here.
And now Baines and Von Dilligan has checked back in. It's Baines on the perimeter. Finds inside, and she picks up her pivot foot and travels.
That's a costly turnover, but Sukman Baines was in striking distance of a triple-double last game with 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 7 steals with only 3 turnovers.
Plus 15 in her, I believe, 30 minutes of playing time. So using her playing time effectively. Indian Creek trying to get the ball to Wiseman, but Dyer was not allowing it, and that's a steal by Baines. Pushing it up the floor. Baines picks up the ball, and another travel called.
I remember us talking about something similar like this last time we broadcasted. I believe it's just that pivot foot is getting picked up slightly and moved, like kind of just you're just doing it subconsciously. I don't think it's something she knows that she's doing, but the refs are just watching that pivot foot really closely, and if they see it move a little bit, they're going to call it.
I believe she's moving so fast that she's trying to stop on a dime and just picking up her foot, and now 5 fouls for the Warriors. So Indian Creek will be in the bonus for the rest of these 8 seconds. No long time to be in the bonus, but free throws for Lauren Foster. And she misses his first one off the front of the rim. 90% free throw shooter. She misses one here.
I mean, Indian Creek's missed, I don't have an exact number, but they've missed a few free throws here.
Most of them actually been because they're coming into the lane before the ball hits the rim. They don't have their offensive rebounders in the paint during those free throws. So they're trying to get their shooters in the paint. That's just, they're doing it too quickly. And now with 5 seconds, Warriors trying to push the ball. That's Johnson. Johnson to Dyer, and time runs out. Just after the first quarter, Whiteland trails Indian Creek 21-8. This has been Whiteland Girls Basketball on the Whiteland Beat Sports Network.
Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages in a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey Jeff, how does this look?
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Welcome back into the Glen Ray Gymnasium as we get set to enter the second quarter of action of the Indian Creek Braves versus your Whiteland Warriors. And we know Whiteland struggles with turnovers quite a bit. But what have you seen that has been different from previous games?
Well, I think they are turning the ball over less, but they're getting forced into really unfavorable situations, and they just kind of rush themselves and don't let something develop. And I think they suffer from just trying to make something happen too fast and making not the right choice at a certain time. But in this game, they've gotten good looks against the team that I don't think we expected them to get certain looks from. And once those start falling, like I've said before, it'll just be better for Whiteland. You'll see them score more, and they'll get into more of a rhythm.
And now Indian Creek coming out with a 3-2 zone. Ella Davis has checked in as Gwen Higdon puts up the 3, won't get to fall. Long rebound by Sophia Dyer. She's trying to get it into Ella Davis, and Ella Davis steps out of bounds. So another turnover for Whiteland.
I mean, those are just turnovers that they're really tough, because on one hand you want to be like, why did that happen? But on the other hand, you can't really blame her because it's such a tight situation.
Trying to get the ball to Wiseman, and they do. Wiseman in the paint. Good defense by Dyer, but Wiseman too strong and gets the layup to fall. So Indian Creek sticking with their full court press. Warriors have actually struggled versus a full court press a lot this season. However, that's Baines wide open for 3. Gets it to fall. So big 3 by Sukman Baines. And now the Warriors have entered double digits for the first time in this game. That's Wiseman in the paint again. It'll be a blocking foul on Sophia Dyer. So Sophia Dyer and Faith Wiseman getting a little physical in the paint on both ends.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see that physicality, but that's her second foul, and we're at the start of the second quarter. So that's not something you really want to see.
And that was a great shot attempt by Lauren Foster. She gets fouled and she heads to the line. So Lauren Foster went 1 for 2 on her first attempts of the game. She now heads here to the line for 2 more shots. And she makes the first. Big crowd on hand to watch these Wineland Warriors versus the Indian Creek Braves. We have the band here. We have Teacher Appreciation Night as well before the game as Foster makes her second. So definitely a great atmosphere in here tonight. That ball almost stolen, but Sukman Baines gets it. Pushing down the floor, Ella Davis puts up the mid-range shot. Too strong, won't get a fall. And that ball will be out of bounds on the Whiteland Warriors.
And that's a good shot. I think that's just a product of coming off the bench a little bit cold, not really having a feel for your shot yet.
So the Warriors will look to get a stop here. Still 7 minutes to go in the second quarter after a quick first quarter. And now that's Jasmine Day in the corner. Won't get the fall. And Wineland gets the rebound. And Baines gets fouled. She gets slapped on the arm. It almost looked to be a bit of a possible jump ball there.
And the possession arrow would have been pointing in Indian Creek's favor in that situation.
So now the Warriors will take it out on the baseline. Again, as we've seen this whole game, Indian Creek still going to that full court press, but Wineland has seemed to do better against it in this quarter as Von Dilligan puts up the shot, won't get the fall. Rebound by Olivia Pendleton. And now Indian Creek pushing out the floor. That's Jasmine Day. She gets blocked, but also fouled. So another foul for Sukman Baines. And Jasmine Day, who had 14 points on 100% shooting against Cloverdale, heads to the line.
Yeah, I mean, that was good defense by Baines, but at the end there, it got a little bit too physical of a block.
And that was Sukman Baines' second foul of the game so far. Wineland versus Martinsville has been in a little bit of a foul trouble. Sam Rodick, Sophia Dyer, and Gwyn Higdon all had 4 fouls. So we're definitely hoping they can cut down on that tonight as they are down 16 to Indian Creek. They push up the floor. Sukman Baines, Von Dilligan sitting in the paint. Now Dyer in the corner, mid-range jumper. Won't get it to fall off the back of the rim. And now cutting is Wiseman on the fast break. Trying to pass it back out. And that's Foster. Looking to get it back to Wiseman, guarded by Gwyn Higdon. And another blocking foul by the Warriors. So another foul on the Warriors. That will be their 4th of the quarter already. We are 2 minutes into the quarter. And one more foul puts Indian Creek into the bonus.
Yeah, and in the first quarter, they were in the bonus with only 8 seconds left, which wasn't that big of a deal, like you said. But possibly being in the bonus with around 5 minutes left is a bit bigger of a deal if you're Whiteland.
So now Wineland will look to get a stop without fouling, if possible, as Foster puts up the 3 from the top of the three-point line. She gets it to fall. And now it's a 19-point lead for Indian Creek. So Wineland going on a little bit of a cold streak after Baines hit a 3. Trying to swing it down to Davis. And that ball goes out of bounds off of Indian Creek. And Wineland will retain possession as senior Brooklyn Johnson checks back into the game. So now Davis will take it down the baseline. Trying to find Dyer, but it goes off of Foster. And Whiteland will retain possession once again as they looked to end this cold drought. Davis needs to get the ball in bounds, gets it to Johnson out by the Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender logo on your Glen Ray Gymnasium court. Von Dilligan trying to find Dyer, finds her. That's looks to be a great pass to Johnson. And now Davis in the paint. Got to find something out, and that'll be 3 seconds in the paint.
You could hear, I think about 80% of the crowd all in unison said, shoot it, which
She had an open shot.
She did have an open shot, but the defense was right there. They could have closed out pretty quickly.
She was looking for possibly Baines on the corner, I feel. Baines had little to no coverage on that play, but in the end, simple mistake, easy fix. And that'll be a travel on Olivia Pendleton. So even when Wineland takes it down the baseline, if they're on this end of if they're on this half of the court, Indian Creek is going to press.
Yeah, I mean their press has worked all game, so I don't see why they would stop now. But see there, that's a great job by Dyer, noticing the defender's leverage, just running right by her.
Davis puts up the three, won't go. Offensive rebound by Sophia Dyer. No foul called as she hits the ground. Now Brooklyn Johnson loses the ball in the pass. And now that is Galt driving in to Wiseman, and Wiseman gets it to fall. So the crowd wanted a foul there, but none called. And now the Warriors will have a chance to end this drought once again, and that's Dyer to Baines, and that ball gets stolen. So now Galt driving on the fast break. She falls, and that ball will go Whiteland's way. And a timeout will be taken here by Coach Bergeson. We will take a timeout as well. You are watching basketball on the Wineland Beat Sports Network.
Cast is brought to you by Taylor's Farm Market, a proud sponsor of Whiteland Warrior Basketball on WBSN. From tomatoes to blackberries to zucchini and more, Taylor's Farm Market has been supplying fresh fruits and produce to families for over 50 years. They work tirelessly to be able to provide for the local community for when the fall and winter come. Located at 2434 East 750 North, stop by for the very best deals on quality produce. Taylor's Farm Market, a proud supporter of WBSN.
When storms come through, it can leave your house with roof, gutter, or siding damage. But when the storm passes, Rees Restoration is there to give you peace of mind. With quick response times, you can expect a trained professional to be on site within 24 to 48 hours after the call.
Call 463-220-4080 to get your free estimate today.
Rees Restoration. Let us show you the way.
Welcome back to the Wineland Beat Sports Network for Whiteland Girls Basketball. Your Lady Warriors currently down 21 to the Indian Creek Braves. Now we have seen them score a little less in this quarter from Wineland, but they've been beating the press more times than none. They're just missing their shots.
Yeah, and obviously beating the press, that's an advancement that you've wanted to see from Whiteland in this game. But yeah, now the next step is hitting open looks.
And Lawler blocks Baines from the three-point line. That's Higdon cutting. And a great find by Baines to find Higdon cutting. And Higdon gets that layup to fall. So now Indian Creek will have a chance to push their lead back into the 20s. As that's Day to Lawler, cutting to the right. And Lawler with Baines with a hard foul on Lawler. And now Lawler will head to the line, and that does put Indian Creek into the bonus. And it also gives Sukman Baines her third foul of the game.
With a whole nother half to go and another 3 minutes of this period, that's not good for Whiteland.
Lawler makes the first. Checking in for Baines is Von Dilligan. So Wineland with a big lineup out there with Davis, Von Dilligan, Johnson, Dyer, and Higdon. One of the tallest lineups that Wineland can put out there. And they look to cut into this lead more if possible, and that's a turnover on a pass by Davis to Higdon. So now Indian Creek has a chance to push up their lead even more. And that's Foster. Receives a screen by Siding. That is Pendleton. Siding swings it around to Lawler driving in. And that's a steal by Dyer. So now Davis will have a chance to push it up for Wineland. Finds Dyer. Higdon open for three, won't take it. Drives to the left. Euro step off the back of the rim. Or should I say the bottom of the rim. And that's a steal by Johnson. And she gets fouled.
Could have also been described as the side of the rim.
Whatever part of the rim it was, we do not know.
It went off of it.
We promise we know more basketball than we're letting on.
Just a little bit.
But now Wineland will have a chance to cut into this lead once again. Trying to get it as low as possible going into the second half. Again, we thank you for tuning in. As that's Dyer, guarded by Wiseman. Dyer trying to find something. Doing a little cut into, and that's a fast break by Lawler, unattended. An easy layup for Lawler. And then she pushes the lead back to 22. Now skip pass to Johnson off the baseline. That's Davis, Higdon, Johnson, who made her first three of the year. Von Dilligan trying to figure out what to do. That's Dyer again. Warriors having a bit of struggle on offense with their game plan as Davis cuts in, and Davis gets a layup to fall. So Wineland figures it out in the end, and Davis gets a layup to fall on the left side, and that's Wiseman with a pass to Foster, and what looked to be a clean block sends Foster to the line.
Verticality seems to be called a little bit different by this officiating crew, but at least they're consistent with it so that as a player, you know, if I do this, this, and this, it's going to be called a foul every time, so you can adjust to that as the game goes on.
And now Foster, a 90% free throw shooter, missed her first one of the night, but has gone clean so far on the other attempts. Makes her first here. And the energy that was in the Glen Ray has toned down a little bit, but there's still time for Wineland to get back in this game.
And while that offensive possession that Whiteland had was a bit slower, the ability to string together passes over that time without turning the ball over is advantageous to Whiteland because it builds your confidence as a team. So that's good. It's a slow possession, but they scored and they strung a lot of passes together without turning the ball over.
Now Higdon will do a long pass to Johnson, and Johnson passes it to Johnson, and now Higdon from the top of the three-point line, she gets it to fall. So it went from Johnson to Higdon. Now Higdon will run into Siding, and Siding will head to the line. Now Siding, a 38% free throw shooter. And that will be Higdon's second foul of the game. Again, Baines currently has 3, sitting on the bench with 3. And Siding misses her first free throw.
I mean, we've seen this game. Indian Creek has missed a decent amount of free throws. So if you didn't have the consequence of fouling out of the basketball game, I think Whiteland's strategy might be just to foul because as a team, they only % from the free throw line. Ooh, a lane violation.
And they're calling that on Siding.
Oh, I thought that was on Whiteland for a second. That's why I kind of stopped, but
it's odd. I don't feel like a lot of lane violations are called these days, but these refs seem to crack down on it.
I feel like they're also not usually called on the team that's shooting the free throws. So it can be over and back. Yeah.
It'll be over and back. I honestly haven't seen an over and back called like that where the ball is on the backside, but the player was on the front court. But I've also never seen the ball be on the one side and the player still be on the front court when they pick the ball up. So,
I mean, typically you are not posting up at midcourt.
But with the full court press, Wineland had to do that, and that's Faith Wiseman in the paint. And another foul called. So now Wiseman will go to the line. Now coming from a Whiteland fan, obviously we're a Whiteland broadcast, it was a close foul. If I was a ref, I wouldn't have called it, but obviously I'm not a ref. Why do you think I'm in this booth? And then, but as But as someone who knows the game of basketball, I understand why that foul was called.
Yeah, it can be called. It's just, it feels like it isn't usually called. And yeah, if we could broadcast and ref at the same time, we would have not made that call.
Well, that's also because broadcasting and reffing at the same time would be very difficult. There's another turnover for Wineland, but that ball will be tipped off of siding.
Broadcasting and reffing at the same time could be more entertaining, though, if I'm being honest.
Maybe you'll see your WBSN project as a turnover by Wineland. And now ref calls a foul on it looks to be Alexa Siding. And Warriors will take it down the baseline again. Alexa Siding, 9 points, 2 blocks versus Cloverdale. Again, 44% field goal shooter, 23 steals on the season, averaging 2.3 steals per game. Indian Creek 8-2 on the season. One of those losses came against Center Grove, always a tough team. And that'll be a blocking foul. So it seems like Bree Galt did not get set down there as Higdon drove in, and now Higdon will head to the line for 2 shots.
This game, right, in the past few minutes, there have been a lot of fouls called, and it's really disrupted the flow of play for both teams. So it's not really an advantage to either team, even though the foul might have been called. You know, just because it was called on Whiteland doesn't mean it's an advantage to Indian Creek, because it's hard to get in a rhythm and a flow as a team when there are so many stoppages in play like that.
So Higdon on the season, 72.7% from the free throw line. We love those extra numbers added to the end. Rounding up is not a facet of our broadcasting. And now Brooklyn Johnson will check back into the game for Gwen Higdon. And now Indian Creek will have a chance with 45 seconds left to push their lead back into the 20s. And if you're Wineland, obviously, you don't want that to happen. And now it's Reese Tunnel who's checked in. Sophomore guard. Did not score against Cloverdale. Checking in late in this first half. Don't mind the voice crack. We are high schoolers. And that shot was blocked. By Faith Wiseman's shot got blocked. And now Ella Davis is trapped. Lena Johnson almost goes out of bounds. Tries to throw it off Indian Creek. But that pass is intercepted by Wiseman. And now that is Foster put up the long three, won't get to fall. So after the first half of play, Indian Creek leads 39-20. We will take a break during halftime. You're watching Whiteland Girls Basketball on the Whiteland Beat Sports Network. Welcome back to the Whiteland Beat Sports Network as we get ready for the second half of action. A bit of an overview of the first half. Whiteland was down 20-8 after the first quarter. I believe 21-8. My apologies. And they are currently down 39-20 entering the second half. And Indian Creek will have the ball at start as Siding throws the ball off of Von Dilligan's foot. And that'll be a kicked ball violation.
Yeah, after the first half, Lauren Foster leads Indian Creek in scoring with 12 points, and Faith Wiseman kind of held to only 9 points. I say that with air quotes.
And now Foster scores again there, pushing the lead back to 21. Warriors still fighting the press. Again, Baines has 3 fouls, so something to look out for. That's Higdon wide open, but won't get the 3 to fall. But it's offensive rebound by Von Dilligan, and Von Dilligan gets fouled, and she will head to the line for 2 shots. Tua. I actually saw someone's license plate, a Pacers license plate, saying Tua.
That's hard. I wish I had that.
I thought it was pretty dumb.
Oh.
I hate customizable license plates. And now Von Dilligan. Her first free throw will fall. Von Dilligan currently shooting 64%. 0.3. Can't forget the 0.3% from the line.
That 0.3 can be the difference between a miss and a make.
And now a errant whistle called by the ref.
Yeah, I don't know if the camera showed it, but he did pat his chest and say, "My bad."
Good for you on owning up to it, Mr. Ref. And now Lauren Foster, leading scorer in tonight's game, taking the ball down for Indian Creek. Trying to get the ball to Siding in the paint, but that ball goes out of bounds off of Von Dilligan. So now Indian Creek will have a chance to take it out on the baseline. And a quick timeout called by Coach Brian Ferris. We will take a break as well. Basketball when you return on the Whiteland Beat Sports Network.
Cast is brought to you by Taylor's Farm Market, a proud sponsor of Whiteland Warrior Basketball on WBSN. From tomatoes to blackberries to zucchini and more, Taylor's Farm Market has been supplying fresh fruits and produce to families for over 50 years. They work tirelessly to be able to provide for the local community for when the fall and winter come. Located at 2434 East 750 North, stop by for the very best deals on quality produce. Taylor's Farm Market, a proud supporter of WBSN.
When storms come through, it can leave your house with roof, gutter, or siding damage. But when the storm passes, Rees Restoration is there to give you peace of mind. With quick response times, you can expect a trained professional to be on site within 24 to 48 hours after the call.
Call 463-220-4080 to get your free estimate today.
Rees Restoration. Let us show you the way.
Welcome back to basketball on the Wineland Beach Sports Network. And now Indian Creek will take the ball out of bounds. Lawler open for 3, and she gets it to fall. So another 3 for Indian Creek. And now Whiteland will have to cut into their lead as Baines gets trapped, and that's a steal. Another turnover for Whiteland. And that's Foster pushing it up the floor. Foster picks up the ball, guarded by Roderick. Now it's Lawler into Wiseman. Wiseman trying to bully her way through, step through, and she gets fouled. They call a push on Dyer. So that'll be, I believe, Dyer's 3rd. So, Dyer has 3. Baines has 3. And it seems like Whiteland will be in a bit of foul trouble.
Yeah, and Whiteland, we've said it, we were talking about it in the first half because they were getting into some foul trouble in the first half, but you really don't want to get into foul trouble early, especially if it's a Sophia Dyer As one of your bigs with such a big Indian Creek lineup, you need to have your bigs out there to be able to combat that a little bit and have a little bit of size.
So a bit of a half-court press now instead of the full court. Almost another turnover by Wineland. But now they're pushing up the floor. They get past the defense, finds Von Dilligan, and Von Dilligan loses the ball. So another turnover for Wineland. And now Foster will take the ball down the floor. Finds Galt. Galt on the wing. And that's siding in the paint, misses a shot. Wiseman offensive rebound. And if you're Wineland, that's just too easy.
And there were some people calling for travel. I didn't exactly see it, so I can't give my opinion on it, but there was suspicion of a travel being taken.
And Roderick takes the three, won't make it, and that ball will go off of Brooklyn Johnson.
And Whiteland, like, you can kind of feel as a team and in this building the energy has just been kind of sucked out of it. So Whiteland just has to bring some more energy, make some shots, not turn the ball over, and just have some positive plays go their way to build some momentum.
Now it's siding on the elbow. Finds Lawler. Seems like they're trying to get the ball inside to Wiseman, but they get inside to siding, and siding scores. So something we haven't seen a lot. 50 points scored already in the third quarter. If you're the Warriors, you need a lot of stops and you need a lot of points. And now Von Dilligan will head to the line as Wiseman picks up another foul.
I mean, Indian Creek's last game, they did win 77-18 against Cloverdale, I believe. Yeah, so this Indian Creek team is very good, and they're putting in another good performance tonight.
Well, when you see they have an IU girls basketball recruit, she's already committed, you think that they would be good, but you don't know if they'd be at the level that they are. But then you look at Indian Creek's full roster, and they have Lauren Foster, 16 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Ayla Lawler, 11 points, 3 assists. And you're just like, oh, now you understand why this team has 8 wins.
I mean, yeah, 3 people in double figures, 6 people averaging 2 or more steals a game, 8 people that shoot over 40% from the field or better. This team, it's not just the bigs, it's a team effort. They've got good guards as well. They can get out and run with you. They're just overall a pretty well-rounded team.
Now it's Galt in the corner. She won't get the 3 to fall. Wiseman offensive rebound, finds Siding, and Siding gets it to fall. So now a 31-point lead for Indian Creek. And Roderick picks the ball up to the half-court line. Baines open from 3. She won't get it to fall, and that's a rebound by Wiseman. And Indian Creek pushing it up again. That's Lawler in the corner, and Lawler gets a 3 to fall.
That's Lawler's second 3 of the half, averaging 43% on the season.
Now Higdon puts up a 3 of her own, and she won't get a fall. Offensive rebound almost went to Wineland. Ball on the floor. They fight for it, and that will be a jump ball going Whiteland's way. So great hustle by Von Dilligan and Wiseman as well, but Whiteland comes up with the possession. And now checking out Von Dilligan. Dyer checking in.
Yeah, if you're Whiteland, you have to substitute Dyer and Von Dilligan very strategically as to not pick up too many fouls.
And now that pass was taken by Lawler, finds Wiseman, and Wiseman with the easy left-handed layup. So now a 36-point lead for Indian Creek. And now it's Dyer putting up the shot, won't get a fall. She goes to the ground to face Wiseman, picks up the rebound. And now cutting down all the way to the floor was Lauren Foster, and she gets the layup to fall. And now full timeout called by Coach Bergeson. We'll take a break as well. Basketball when you return on the Wineland Beat Sports Network.
Cast is brought to you by Taylor's Farm Market, a proud sponsor of Whiteland Warrior Basketball on WBSN. From tomatoes to blackberries to zucchini and more, Taylor's Farm Market has been supplying fresh fruits and produce to families for over 50 years. They work tirelessly to be able to provide for the local community for when the fall and winter come. Located at 2434 East 750 North, stop by for the very best deals on quality produce. Taylor's Farm Market, a proud supporter of WBSN.
Welcome back to Whiteland Girls Basketball on the Whiteland Beat Sports Network, presented by Taylor's Farm Market. When we used to do the read, finish with your source for locally grown produce. I believe they had tomatoes, strawberries. Strawberries actually look pretty good, if I'm remembering correctly.
Their tomatoes are pretty good. My mom made a chili with them once.
I don't like tomatoes. I like ketchup, though, and pizza.
Tomatoes are in those products.
Tomatoes are in those products. You're correct. And Indian Creek's jerseys, just like tomatoes, bright red. Great segue. We're good broadcasters, we swear. And now the Warriors are facing a 38-point deficit as they try to cut into this lead as much as they can. And now it's Baines finding roadwork again. Dyer cuts. Finds Johnson, decides not to put up a shot as that's great defense by Galt. And that pass was tipped. Bit of a longer possession for the Warriors as they're trying to find an open shot as that's Higdon. Back to Baines. Baines steps back. And the Warriors really struggling to find an open shot as Dyer loses the ball. And that'll be another jump ball, and Indian Creek will take possession.
Yeah, but Whiteland, even though they almost turned the ball over a little bit there, they did have something going. It just didn't result in points, but they gained some momentum on that possession.
Now, Indian Creek looking to add to their lead. As that is Pendleton who's checked in. Foster receives a screen by Galt, and that pass is stolen. Actually, I believe that ball is just lost. And now Higdon driving to the left, fakes the pass to Lee, and she gets fouled hard. So she will go to the line for 2 shots. Coming up a bit wobbly. We hope she's okay. She looks to be. It was a bit of a hard foul.
That was a hard thud that we heard as she hit the ground. It was a tough collision.
If we can get a replay, we can see if it's a flagrant.
But we do not have replays. We'll send it to
Secaucus as they review it. As Higdon makes her first. And now Lana Johnson will check in for the Warriors. And Higdon will make both of her free throws, cutting the lead back down to 36.
And both of those free throws are Higdon's first points of the half, with the third quarter almost done.
And now it's Pendleton driving to the right. Shot looked to be partially blocked by Johnson, Brooklyn Johnson. And now running down the floor, Johnson tries putting up a shot, and she gets fouled by Lauren Foster.
That was pretty smart, because in putting up that shot, I mean, she knew that she wasn't going to make it, but in putting up that shot, it goes from a foul that would have been called on the ground to then a shooting foul. So that's actually a pretty smart play there.
She was going too fast to really stop and put up a great shot. So quick thinking by Brooklyn Johnson, putting up the shot, as you said, it would have been just a common foul if she didn't put up a shot. But she does, and she goes to the line, and she hits the first one. Now Indian Creek with some substitutions. We have freshman Ellie Oliver and sophomore Reese Tennell. And Johnson misses her second. And that ball will go out of bounds, and seems as though Indian Creek will retain possession. So 2 minutes left in this third quarter. And that ball will go out of bounds off of Oliver on an errant pass by Day. So the Warriors down by 35. Not looking too favorable, but there's still time. It's only, I believe, 12 threes. We've seen the Warriors hit 12 threes in 10 minutes before. And there's another foul called.
Yeah, but these fouls, I mean, if you want to hit that many threes and get back into it, you need to get into a rhythm. And these fouls and stoppages in play and turnovers and things of that nature just aren't going to help you do that.
And now, due to the point differential, the clock is running until she took a free throw, as Oliver makes her first. Oliver going for a second. And she makes second. So now Baines bring up the floor, finds Dyer in the corner. Dyer stops, trying to put up a shot, gets trapped, finds Baines wide open, and Baines hits the three.
Sukman Baines, also her first points of the half, her second three of the game.
Now that ball goes off to Nell, and Foster falls to the ground, passes it to Day. No travel called. And now Day slowing it down, finds Oliver. Oliver puts up the shot, and she gets it to fall. So now Whiteland with possession again. Baines finds Von Dilligan cutting to the right, and she won't get it fall. Dyer going after the ball. Foster comes up with it, though. So now that's Tennell driving in, finds Foster. Foster puts up a shot, and Foster gets it to fall. So 10 seconds left to go in this third quarter. Whiteland with the last shot of the quarter, most likely. Or not, Von Dilligan, quick shot, and time will run out. And the Warriors are down 65-29. We will take a break. This has been Whiteland Girls Basketball on the Whiteland Beat Sports Network.
Cast is brought to you by Taylor's Farm Market, a proud sponsor of Whiteland Warrior Basketball on WBSN. From tomatoes to blackberries to zucchini and more, Taylor's Farm Market has been supplying fresh fruits and produce to families for over 50 years. They work tirelessly to be able to provide for the local community for when the fall and winter come. Located at 2434 East 750 North, stop by for the very best deals on quality produce. Taylor's Farm Market, a proud supporter of WBSN.
When storms come through, it can leave your house with roof, gutter, or siding damage. But when the storm passes, Rees Restoration is there to give you peace of mind. With quick response times, you can expect a trained professional to be on site within 24 to 48 hours after the call.
Call 463-220-4080 to get your free estimate today.
Rees Restoration. Let us show you the way.
Hello and welcome back to Whiteland Girls Basketball on the Whiteland Beat Sports Network. Michael Park delegated the leading out of break duties to me. I think I did a pretty decent job there.
You brought us back, and now we're back. And Whiteland currently down by 36 points with 8 minutes left to go. It's not looking too particularly favorable for them. And we've seen a lot of things go wrong for them tonight, but we've also seen some strides. We've seen them really be able to figure out things like as it came to them.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell they're getting it as they go along. It's just the big thing in this game is the big thing that seems to be in every game is the turnovers and teams being able to full court press Whiteland for a majority of the game, or at least in the first half, and then it just kind of throws them off and not hitting open looks when they need to be. And you know, like they have cohesion on defense and offense. It's just they can't seem to capitalize on opportunities.
And we see them throughout the year. Whiteland has faced the full court press, and sometimes they manage it pretty well. But on others, like tonight, they were just making too many errant passes in the air. And when you have an experienced team like Indian Creek, who I'm sure plays that full court press almost every game, no matter what the team is, you just can't have those passes that are just lackadaisical in the air, because that leads to turnovers, and turnovers are not good.
Especially not for this team, which has had a problem with them all year.
And a great save by Dyer, and that's Baines for three. She won't get it to fall. And now the ball will go out of bounds on Indian Creek. And the Whiteland Warriors will have possession. In other Whiteland news, the swim team, I believe boys swim, was at home tonight versus Southport. We do not have final results yet as Hickman puts up a 3, and it won't go. But we will get them to you if we get them. Great hustle by Day. And that was an errant pass miscommunication. And Von Dilligan comes up with the ball, but it'll be a jump ball, and Indian Creek will retain possession. So now with 6 minutes left, mass substitution for the Warriors. 5 players substituting in. We have Alexa Lee, Ella Davis, Rihanna Hardy, Brooklyn, and Lena Johnson.
In hockey terms, that would be a line shift. Full 5 players coming off. But yeah, this time, some refer to it as garbage time, but really it's just time for younger players who don't get on the court as much in varsity situations to gain some experience and prepare them for next year, where they will probably be competing for roster spots and playing time and stuff like that. So this is still valuable time for these players and for the coaches, because in games like this you kind of discover things about yourself as an athlete and how you play the game and how you think about the game of basketball. So it's still valuable for both Whiteland and Indian Creek.
Yeah, and at the same time, Coach Bergeson is thinking about what really went wrong tonight for Whiteland. She's also thinking about, well, let's see what these players can do. Let's see how they match up, and let's see how they can grow. As Hardy puts up a 3, won't get to fall off the right side of the rim. But, I mean, this is really a growing moment for these players as they try to understand what kind of player they want to be on this Whiteland team, and really what kind of player the Coach Bergeson wants to lead the team to be.
And I mean, even though when you, in situations like this, if you're primarily a JV player and you're getting out varsity minutes like this and you're playing other players like that, just playing varsity minutes feels different no matter who you're playing against.
That shot won't fall. Rebound by Johnson. That'll be a foul on Pendleton. Again, running clock, so it won't stop unless the ball is dead, which is, well, not necessarily when it's dead, but on a free throw, they won't stop the clock until the person shooting the free throw touches the ball. And when you're taken out of bounds on like an out of bounds or a foul, they will not stop the clock at all. Our next broadcast on the Whiteland Bee Sports Network next Tuesday against Crispus Attucks. We have not necessarily played the Attucks a lot, but really it's just a game for Warriors to figure out what they can do, especially at home. You have a home crowd behind you. And now that will be a jump ball.
Well, and facing, new opponents, you're going to be facing new players that you don't normally see, different coaches, different schemes and stuff. So it's good for film review. Really, it's advantageous for both teams to play people that they don't usually play, because you learn things in those games.
And now more substitutions for the Warriors. Sarah Gilmore and Mike Guman. So again, like we said, Warriors just trying to figure out players for possibly years, as you're losing Higdon and Brooklyn Johnson. So a 38-point lead for Indian Creek. That's Hardy. Davis loses a pass intended for Gilmore. Goodman picks up the ball, and that pass is intercepted. Now fast break opportunity. That's Oliver. Fakes it and goes up with the right hand. She's left-handed, but she goes up with the right, and she makes that little baby hook. And that'll push the lead to 40 points. And now if you're the Warriors, obviously you're looking at the score and you're like, this game was rough. But there's a lot of a bright side to these kinds of games.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to walk away from a game talking about moral victories, but sometimes you have to, because you can still take those into future games. I mean, these kind of games build character for everyone involved, and you learn things as a team, and you kind of learn what not to do in the future against teams that are, on paper they look better than you. You are more prepared the next time you face a team like that.
And like you said, a bit of a moral victory that you don't necessarily not always want to take with you, but sometimes you do. But it also gives you opportunity to not only see what you did wrong, but see what you did right. Because in moments, obviously you scored 31 points, so you had to do something right in times. So you got to understand what you did in those moments and figure out how you capitalize on those in future games and how you capitalize trying to mesh your defense well together, trying to mesh your offense and mesh them both into a well-rounded game to lead to more victories. Because we saw last year they were 12-12. Now, obviously, they had seniors Emma Piercy and Brooklyn Taylor leave the team. Obviously, to graduation, they didn't just get up and leave one day. But you have to grow as a team. You have to figure out what your strengths are. You have to figure out what your weaknesses are. And you have to play team basketball. As Rihanna Hardy hits the three. Rihanna Hardy has not played many minutes on the Wineland team, and she's taking her chance to shine as Ellie Oliver puts up the three. Freshman, 6'1" freshman. Definitely has a bright future as Gooman puts up a mid-range jumper, won't get a fall. 40 seconds left in this game. Well, it's been over, but almost now you can guarantee it's over.
In the stat sheet, it will be officially over.
In the stat sheet, in the minds of the Warriors, but not until the bell rings. Not until it rings is the game truly over. Who knows? Maybe they hit 10, 15 threes in the next 15 seconds. Probably won't happen due to the running clock, but
you never know.
You never know.
That's why you play the games.
Crazier things have happened. That's a lie. No, they really haven't. But now it's Ella Davis driving to the right. It almost gets the layup to fall. So, against a great Indian Creek team with a Division I commit, Wineland drops to 4-8 as they drop the game 74-34. And they drop to 4-8, like we said. For me, Michael Park, Luke Wineland-Moening, and the whole WBSN crew, we thank you for watching tonight. And good night.